Okay, I want to talk to you about the environment and why a lot of people are feeling more ill and having more problems related to old age and senility. It is all to do with the fact that there's too much hydrogen in the air and not enough oxygen. There is not enough CO2 in the air, which then counterbalances blood groups quality. There is a side effect of oxygenated poisonous toxins in bloods in certain impacted um, conditions to do with old age and decay of organs functions. Basically, because there isn't enough CO2 in the air, because we don't have enough trees, and the fact that the world has gone stupid when we all advise that you shouldn't take too much CO2 out of the air, you've gone too carbon neutral. I want to advise you also, carbon catchment and putting it into the sea is bad. It is bad. It shouldn't be done. You shouldn't do carbon catchment and putting it into the sea. It's going to cause the sea to be worse. And what's the point? What is the point? We need carbon in the air. Is somebody trying to kill all the human race or something? Because you sound like a load of pathetic money hoarding whores. You're doing weird science that's not going to help anybody. We can't just muster more trees out of nowhere, but we can plant more trees from saplings all over the world instead of doing this, what you call it. And we could do copsing of forests and everything. So I'm going to say we need to do forestry. We need to sell wood. We need to make wood. We need to sell wood. We need to make wood and sell wood. We need to harvest forestry. Now, it does naturally, and animals do look after the forest naturally, but you're not giving them anything either. So I'm going to say to you, the world, you look at the real content of air, it has CO2 in it. And what you're doing is you're taking CO2 out with carbon neutral. It's stopping everybody from having good quality blood and organ replenishment. What happens is, up in the stratosphere is neon. Neon works with the sun, and CO2 catalysts out of neon purer oxygen instead of the opposite of it, which is neon effect being burnt up in hydrogen, causing more hydrogen in the stratosphere, which means the rain hasn't got so much oxygen in it, and it still doesn't work as well because it's supposed to have CO2 in it as well for the trees. When it rains, a fern tree will take the CO2 out of the atmosphere and put it into iron into the ground, which ends up in the rivers and goes back out to the sea. So do not do carbon catchment, and do not make carbon neutral, because you're doing it too extreme. So my advice is, do not stop electric vehicles, but change the way that the amount of electric vehicles are used. I want to advise councils, I want to advise governments, I want you to look. We can't do carbon neutral because it's going to end up killing us. It will ruin our blood. We will die earlier and people will end up senile because of it. I want to recommend that sodium, and possibly if you're weakening sodium in your diet, then get your RDA back in sodium because you want to clear all these nerve endings in your brain. It'll be fuzzy because it's been covered over with a poor quality air because it's carbon neutral. There's too much helium in it, it makes you feel very drowsy. So if you go to the shower and you put water on top of your head and you feel this muzziness disappear, you're suffering with too much helium, which is to do with the atmosphere and poor blood quality. Poor blood quality. Not enough CO2 in the air, we don't have enough trees, and we've gone carbon neutral, which has made it even worse. So it's supposed to be reacting with neon to make stronger oxygen, but it's not doing that. It's killing us.